Howdy, everyone. Greg Martin, the Entrepreneur's Banker here. And this week, we've got a special treat for you. We've got Tim Douglas. He is the president, founder, CEO of Fidelis Creative Industry. It is a marketing and branding company here in Bryan College Station, Texas. And I have known Tim for probably 2 or 3 years. And I'm so excited to be able to introduce him to all of you. If you do not know Tim, please do yourself a favor and pause this video right now. Connect with him on LinkedIn, Facebook. The value that he brings and the amount of clarity and the support that he helps his clients with is absolutely amazing. So, Tim, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for the introduction too. That was really kind.
Yeah, well, and I forgot to mention he is a podcaster. So
Yep.
if you, as you're hitting pause, make sure you go to Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts, and look up Brand Manual, subscribe, and like it. There's one episode that I'm on is the rest of them are amazing. So definitely check them out for that. So Tim,
No,
tell
that's
us a little
good. You're underselling yourself.
bit. That's undersell and over deliver. That's right. That's my mantra. But tell us a
That's
little bit
good.
about yourself. Tell us about Fidelis Creative Agency and why do you have the passion for doing what you do?
In terms of explaining what our agency is all about, I always start with our mission statement. Um, so Fidelis, we exist to help businesses find their voice and get loud.
Get loud.
Um, because we believe that successful business is inherently good, which really needs some unpacking. But you might think of us like speech therapists for brands. The entirety of that is our mission statement, but I think it really sums up what we're about. Um, we we have a general sense that a majority of businesses are not speaking their clearest message, if they're speaking at all. And what we're hoping to do and what we aim to do every day is help good, solid businesses connect with their audience in more substantial, cleaner ways.
Mm-hmm. That's got to be so hard though, because when you say that there are entrepreneurs that have poured their lives, their passion into their baby, into their business, part of that business is their brand. And I think they would probably argue, Tim, look at all the things that I'm posting, or look at what I'm doing. And the fact that you come up to them and be like, that's really
Yeah.
not effective. You are wasting your breath, money, and energy. Stop. That's got to be some
Right.
really hard conversations, but meaningful ones.
Yeah. So I like that you used the analogy of a baby. This is my baby, because that's true. That's how we feel about our businesses. Um, so what we've kind of discovered is that businesses will start at inception, and they usually start in the mind and in the heart of a business owner who has an idea, or he has a value proposition, or he sees something that just needs help in the world. Find a need, fill a need.
Yep.
And so this thing is born. And because it's a business, we start it working. It starts doing things with its hands. And this is the natural progression, is that, okay, this is a good, valuable service or offering I provide. Well, now I need to connect to customers. And so I start talking. The truth is that whenever an entity or an organization is born, what we try to do is let it express itself in a very good, healthy kind of way, so that when it does finally hit the market, it's not talking gibberish. It's not talking schizophrenically. It's not talking with a stutter, or it's not talking too softly or way too weirdly and loud. All of those are different types of speech problems. They're all different types of um, just things that you can work on, right? So That's what we fix is we fix that communication and the practice of speech from brands.
So you're a brand speech therapist.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Um, it is hard sometimes to tell people that, hey, ooh, you're coming off like a crazy person. But the other thing I found is that it doesn't matter the size of company that you are. You're going to have some of those kinds of problems. You could be doing 100,000 a year. You can be doing 10 million, and those problems are all common. Um, Unfortunately, the bigger you are and the bigger advertising budget you have, it doesn't mean that you're speaking cleaner. It just means you're going louder.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we start as we look at what is the message and how do we communicate that in good, perfect harmony.
Right. And when the time comes to be able to speak as loud as you need to, not to be obnoxious, but
Right.
to be noticed, to attract the type of
That's right.
clients that best serve, that you best serve and get the most value out of you. So
Yeah.
talking about clients and the ones that get the most value out of you, I talk a lot about how entrepreneurs have a Fab Five, or those are, in my words, those are the five advisors, the team that the entrepreneur surrounds themselves with, whether it be, a professional from a CPA, an attorney, maybe an entrepreneur mentor, something like
Mhm.
that. I think that there is a valid case to be made, because I've just seen how you work, to be able to have someone like you and someone who helps define the brand of the business, especially in these times, with COVID-19 and the shelter in place, and having to communicate, the need to communicate so clearly. So my question is, why should an entrepreneur that doesn't have a brand developer, a brand expert in
Mhm.
their Fab Five, consider having someone like you as part of their team?
Yeah, that's a good question. So yeah, when COVID hits, or when there's socioeconomic and racial unrest, and your business needs to be able to speak whenever it has a place in the world, and it needs to be able to communicate. Um, Navigating those situations, and even let's say that the economy and everything in the world is absolutely perfect, and now you're just talking market share.
Mhm.
um, Marketing and communications is so deeply core, nuclear in a business, um, that being able to do it well, it's not a spectator sport. It's very active, it's very hands-on, and most of our clients have the understanding that um, it's a better way through business is to build a good team, instead of just trying to DIY. So most of our clients call us in those hot moments. They hey, this hit and we're having to cancel this event. How do we communicate that without causing fear in our customers, but also maybe causing fear in our own staff? How
Right.
do we communicate? I sit on a couple of boards, and hey, how do we communicate this Black Lives Matters movement and moment in time without making it about us? Or how do we do that and showing support without it being um, disenfranchising? Or how do we do that without it just being weird? And so
Right.
communications and marketing people will they may not always have the right answer in the moment, but they should have the right tools to find the right answer.
Right. And to be able to come alongside an entrepreneur, and to be able to provide that expertise, to be
Hmm.
able to say the perspective, sometimes being nose down in the
Hmm.
business. And then when you're faced with something like the social injustices or the COVID or whatever it is, you have such a, I don't mean this in a bad way, but you have such a myopic view of your world that you want to respond and you want your heart to come out and be supportive and sympathetic and display empathy. But I'm a plumber. I turn wrenches. I don't know. I don't know those words. And so having someone like you on the team to be able to help provide that sounding board and clarity is immensely valuable.
Right. Yeah. And not only in the how, but also in the when. Maybe now's not the time to talk. Maybe you need to give that platform to somebody who needs it. So, how do you do that inside of a marketing plan? How do you do that inside of a team that um, might have scheduled things going out that day? You know, so how do you navigate all of that stuff? Um, that's where a marketing professional will come in handy.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, what are some ways that you have seen entrepreneurs either be their attitude, have that change over in the last couple of months, specifically attitude towards branding, attitude towards marketing, because you're what you just said. Now is the time to be able to make sure that you are communicating the right message the right way at the right time. And so, has there been a change? And don't just say we're doing Zoom meetings. Come on, give me a little bit more than that.
Okay. All right. Well, we're doing Zoom meetings. No. Yeah. So, you know, the time, the time to speak with clear and precision, it's always been the time for that. Clear communication is timeless. I mean, that's what we should have been doing at the beginning of 2020 and 2019. Um, I think that the attitudes of business owners has changed in the last several months, mainly because they're just more in touch with how important it is. Um, it was always important. I think they're just feeling it a little bit tighter right now. Um, in in the moments between, uh, for instance, in this quarantine, a lot of business owners are not most well most entrepreneurs I know are not sit on your hands kind of people.
No.
um, and the governor comes out and says you need to stay at home and sit. um, we found that a lot of business owners are very interested in, okay, I can't work at the business right now, but I can work on the business.
Mm-hmm.
And so very e-myth revisited kind of mentalities, which is great. So we found a lot of people going back to, all right, I'm going to shore up my foundations. Maybe now's not the time to go pour $100,000 into digital marketing, but when I'm ready, I want to be able to hit that so cleanly that
Mm.
it's just right on the money, right? Um, the interesting thing about that is that, and I'm not sure that the market understands this yet, but um, everybody's doing that. And if we all come running and rushing out of the gate at the same time, even though everybody is faster and better because of this downtime, you're still right in the middle of that kind of rat race. Again, I'm not trying to pitch working with a communications company, but um, there's this old proverb. I'm not sure who said it, or honestly, I've looked for the source of this for the last like 2 years, but um, and I'm going to butcher it, but there is something along the lines of that truth, even spoken during with a whisper, can be louder than the loudest cannon. So when we're looking for clarity of message, we're looking for something that hits, something that's
Right.
um, it's not fluff, but is impactful. And often those kinds of things are attached to being able to speak truth. And so in your marketing plan, if you're trying to speak to the quarantine or to the injustices, truth often is the right way to push through those things. Not to get overly philosophical,
No,
although
but
that is my degree.
but I think that, so what I heard you say was that entrepreneurs are consistently working in their business now that they've been forced to maybe not be at their business. And a lot of the wise ones are having clearer communication, having a clearer brand identity so that when these open up, they can present that. If you're not doing that, one, you're probably at a disadvantage, even more so than before, because there has been at every level, somewhat of a pause for entrepreneurs to work on this. But then two, just as importantly, even though everyone else is more clear on what they're saying, if you have truth in your communication, then it doesn't matter how loud everyone else is, you will speak directly to your target audience. And whether that be a whisper or a cannon, it will resonate with them. But you have to put in the work now with an expert and with the honest conversations with yourself and your team.
Very well summarized, Greg. That was awesome.
Let me ask you this, Tim. There's a lot of entrepreneurs out there that are realizing, okay, I'm taking time, and I think that this time is rapidly coming to a close, that we're going to be at home. I think one from a standpoint of everyone is, I know that in the circle that we're both in, a lot of people are ready to get out. A lot of entrepreneurs have been working on their business, not in it, and they're ready to be back in it to implement some of the changes that they've made. And quite frankly, you need cash. So everyone's highly motivated to continue to get out. But if someone has been taking this time to maybe work on operations or to work on their human capital, their team, to be able to build them up, but they haven't consulted with a brand management company, how do they start? How do they even find someone? How do you, because there's a lot of different marketeers out there. Some of them, ironically, maybe don't define themselves and don't brand themselves well enough. But how can an entrepreneur who hasn't worked with a Tim before find someone like you, or what should they be asking someone that they're interviewing?
Well, you hit me with a different question there at the end of that lead up. So, but those were both great. So this is where we flash my phone number at the bottom.
That's right.
Okay.
That's exactly
so moving
right.
past that. Okay. No, that's good. So I would say that a lot of marketers they leave a lot of the entrepreneur to struggle through the message and then take up the pace on amplification. So a lot of marketers are all about ad spend. They're all about marketing strategies, which we do all of that, of course, but they never get quite to the challenging, deeper dive questions of, is that your value proposition, and is it right? And how do you communicate that? And why are you doing this? And what does your client need to hear? And are you able to say the words that they're looking for? So in terms of finding that person, there are a lot of resources out there that will lead you into that work. And what we're finding is that even with those resources, there is a lot of when you work through those things, it typically will take a lot of time, months, even years sometimes. Um, and so I'm not entirely sure how else to find somebody who will walk you through it. That is the particular niche that we're filling.
Hmm.
Um, but there are branding agencies. There are uh, often those branding agencies are typically motivated more by design.
Hmm.
So they want to logo you. They want to do your website, that sort of thing. Um, but yeah, just call me.
That
Maybe that's
it,
maybe that's the best answer.
and I 1000% agree with this. With that, I know that um, the value that you bring, and just like you talked about, if you're just looking for a cannon or a megaphone, then there are people out there that can wow you with algorithms and say this is what Facebook likes this week, and you have to post
Hmm.
Insta videos upside down in order to get a million likes, and that's the flavor of the day. And
Right,
you can get so wrapped up in the pipe by which
right.
your voice is amplified, that you don't spend the needed time on what your voice is saying and how
That's
you're
right.
saying it. So that's really, really good. So anyone that I would say that if you have a marketing spend and you don't understand it, and that's one of the biggest knocks that I hear entrepreneurs talk about marketers, is that it goes into this black box, and I don't know, I can't correlate directly how that comes back. Well, then the challenge to you, entrepreneur, is to maybe talk to someone like Tim and to say,
Hmm.
okay, we're not going to focus on the pipe, how you get the message out. We're going to focus and help you clarify what you're going to say, and then you can clearly change and not change anything else. I mean, you can tweak it, but not change anything else, and then it's a very clear. I
Right.
am I am saying who I serve better, and so that leads to more business. So that's great.
Yeah. So we have a core value. We put a lot of stock into our core values here at Fidelis,
Hmm.
and one of them is never trust a wizard. And um, what we mean by that is that we've all seen Wizard of Oz. We all know that there's a little guy behind a curtain pulling levers, and ultimately his purpose and goal is to give himself a big head.
Yeah.
And the whole time, the magic was on your feet. It's been there all along. Um, what we do is we look at just activating it. And so we're just trying to draw it out of you, trying to draw it out of your heart and out of your mind, trying to get it down on paper, and really trying to get it into a format by which you can hand it to somebody, whether that's us or not. We're looking for, hey, you need to be able to work your business. Your voice has to be able to communicate and transfer to somebody else, so that you're not the one person that all that
Hmm.
information is locked up in.
Yeah. But the irony, or for your business model, the good thing is that businesses grow,
Right.
businesses evolve, and how, not only how they communicate, but what they communicate and what they say grows and evolves as they bring on more capabilities, as they
Hmm.
serve diverse markets, as they are looking to expand. So to be able to realize that just because I'm an engineer in Central Texas and all of a sudden we're
Right.
acquiring someone in Nevada, well, you just don't slap
Right.
those two together and say, oh, they'll never intermix. You have to have clear, consistent voice and how you communicate to the market
That's right.
across the way. So this is
Yeah, that's
not a
right.
one and done. It is definitely you, and this takes, like you said, it takes time. It takes
It
someone
does.
that is not in the business every single day to be able to guide you along the way, to say, okay,
Hmm.
now you say your core values are this, but nothing
Right.
in how you communicate shows that. Is that really a
That's right.
core value?
Hmm.
Does it, because if it's a core value, then it's something you need to hang your hat on, and
Hmm.
that's so valuable. So
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. All right, you got time for lightning round?
Sure, man.
Okay, so in 10 words or less, I want you to tell me your favorite TV show growing up.
Hercules with Kevin Sorbo.
Oh, legit. That's good. All right. Good. All
A
right.
little cringy, but
No, it's cringy for your kids.
yeah.
Now's the time to show them. Favorite thing to eat for breakfast?
Coffee.
Okay. A coffee connoisseur, I
Yep.
believe.
Yeah.
Yes, that is one thing that I miss the most about 1 Million Cups is
Yeah.
Rodrigo. And
Just caffeinate and I'm on my way. I'm not really. I don't really eat for breakfast.
there you go. If you were stuck on a deserted island with one person, that person can be alive or dead. Who would that be?
Oh gosh, alive or dead. Somebody who knows how to build a boat, I guess.
Somebody
You
knows
know,
how to build a boat. That's right. I want a
yeah,
Navy SEAL
right.
or
A Navy
an
SEAL
army
would be
an
pretty
army
good.
ranger. Yeah, there you go.
Jocko.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know. He'd probably yell at me and make me do
Yeah,
too many
probably.
push-ups. So,
Right.
but we get home safe, so I guess that'd be okay. Okay, so one podcast that we should listen to right now, and I'm going to give you a pass again. Brand Manual. If you're not listening to that, you need to
Yeah,
do
very
that.
nice.
So other than the Brand Manual, what podcast should we be listening to?
I enjoy Donald Miller's just because I like to stay up on branding.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also The Future. There's they do it's not a podcast so much as a vlog, but
Okay.
that's a good one too. That'll keep you
Okay.
up on design.
Okay. The future is just thefuture.com or?
Yeah, it's like FUTR.
Okay. All right. We'll check it out. And one book that entrepreneurs should read.
Um, I am on your recommendation. I'm consuming everything Profit First and Pumpkin Plan, Clockwork. I'm consuming all of that stuff right now.
Anything by Mike Michalowicz,
Yeah,
I thoroughly enjoy. It's a
yeah,
little bit corny, but
yeah, he's got some things figured out. I think he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I'd follow him. So, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Tim, tell us, as we're getting ready to leave, two questions. One, tell us about the entrepreneur that gets the maximum value out of you and that you enjoy working with. And then tell us how we can connect with you.
So the entrepreneur that gets the most out of working with us, so often we'll have the usual course is a business owner will come to us and say, hey, I need you to do X, Y, or Z, whether that's I need a marketing strategy for the next year. I need to know how to problem shoot this thing. We need a rebrand. We need a logo, whatever it is. The person who gets the most value out of us is the person who's able to do some of the deep work. We will often push people backwards into a brand workshop. So all that work that takes a year, all that deep dive stuff that most entrepreneurs are left to figure out on their own, as the world is telling them, you need to spend more, all of that. We go in and do an intensive deep dive and guide the process. And we do all of that in a workshop format. And the person who's willing to go there, it's a little bit more of a brave entrepreneur that's like happy to do some of the risky work and be honest. But that person typically it's kind of like pouring concrete, because it's like we get all of that hard, deep work done first, and then you can build on it and it's solid and it'll last much, much, much longer.
So do you have entrepreneurs that bring their team in? Is this hey, I'm the CEO and this is my business. I know where we want to go. So
the longest one we did a 9-hour workshop with an oil company, and the CEO brought in, they were a midstream oil services company, and they brought in I think it was like 6 or 7 different people from their C-suite, and the CEO is just like pulling them in. And it took a long time, but we facilitated really good fights between all of the C-suite. And it was all that like really good work. There is something of a team building moment when you have to really nail something down and struggle through it together. But yeah, we've had CEOs bring their wives in. It's like, great, you're part of the decision stake. You've been here since inception. Let's make it, we need your voice.
Yeah, that's got to be very scary sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and probably some very heated discussions with that. But I guess that goes along with being the speech therapist is the C-suite counselor.
Yeah, it's everybody that walks in that room knows that it's for the benefit, so that everybody walks in with a little bit of hope. I think it's very exciting.
That's awesome. So how can entrepreneurs get in touch with you?
You can go to our website, fideliscreativeagency.com. Fidelis is a weird word, but it is, Simplify or a hi-fi radio, or the root of fidelity.
Okay.
But FIDELIS, creativeagency.com.
Awesome. Well, I hope you all check it out. Tim, thank you so much for sharing some amazing wisdom and being very open about your business and transparent of how you serve the clients. Like I said at the very beginning, if you have not connected with Tim on LinkedIn, on Facebook, gone to Fidelis Creative Agency, and just kind of checked out his scope of work and what he does and how he helps entrepreneurs find their voice and say it loud. You really need to do that. Until next time, this is Greg Martin, the Entrepreneur's Banker. Hope you have a great one. Be safe.
Thanks, Greg.